Welcome to the Exposer. So today we're doing part 2 of Spac Nation Pastor Samuel Akokia. So Pastor Sam spent 4 years in jail for robbery. So as you know, he's been a thief from early. So whilst he was in jail, there's another pastor at Spac Nation named Pastor Annabelle. She had a personal friendship with him before Spac Nation. So while she was at Spac Nation, she was right to Sam every day until his release. So upon Samuel's release, he joined Spac Nation. So he joined up with Annabelle again, like I mentioned, someone who he knew before Spac Nation. So Samuel was involved in a sexual relationship with Annabelle. Whilst he was at Spac Nation, they got engaged. And later on, it was discovered that he was having another sexual relationship with another lady called Pastor Menz. So I'm just going to play a live from TK of him basically breaking down the sexual relationship going around Spac Nation regarding Pastor Sam, and then we'll continue from there.
This is Pastor Sam, known as is one of the general leaders after Toby, Pastor Toby, and he was meant to get married to another pastor called Pastor Annabelle. He ordained her himself, so the fornicator ordained her himself. This is Pastor Annabelle. They was meant to get married. This is Pastor Annabelle. Yeah. They were engaged. Yeah, so they was meant to get married. Everything was secured, everything was good to go. But then boom, she found out that he was cheating on her. He cheated on her with another pastor. This pastor's called Pastor Mems. Let me show you her. So this is Pastor Mems. Pastor Mems. Yeah, she lives with Toby as well, Pastor Toby. That's Pastor Mems. She's a pastor also. Alright, cool, but guess what she done with it? The girl had an abortion. Like I said, the girl had an abortion, fam. Yep, Pastor Mems had an abortion under PT's house, Toby's house. He's meant to be an anointed man. She had an abortion in his house. So how's duppy happening in your house? You're meant to be an anointed man, and duppy is happening in your house. You get me? So where from? You get me, fam? How's duppy happening in your house? Man of God. Another pastor having an abortion. But cool. So he's talking about. So he didn't rebuke Sam, right? He didn't rebuke Sam. So when Pastor Annabelle found out, they split up. Yeah, they split up. Fam, not even a month. This guy gets with this other pastor. He gets with this other pastor, Pastor Alicia. All the man them know her. Nightmare knows her. You get me? She needs to go out with another pastor as well. Yeah, we know about the head. Giving head in the back of the range. We know about that. Yes, we know about that. Yeah. So these man are even sharing things, fam. I don't get it, how these man do this thing and all. So he dates her now. Another pastor. She was Pastor Toby's PA. You get me, fam? She was Pastor Toby's PA. Let me show you a video when Pastor Toby is throwing money on her, like to say she's a stripper. You get me, fam? Like to say she's a stripper, you get me? So that's her, Christmas. You get me, that's her. All the man getting excited. Yeah, dog. One, yeah, bomba clock, yeah. One, yeah. One. I am blessed. Of course you are. Of course you are. You took someone's money. They was about to get married. Of course you're blessed. Look, the money getting thrown in her head. Look, yes, look at Toby. Yes, you have done well. You have done well. Someone was meant to get married. Someone was going to get married, but you have cancelled it. You have done well. She's like, I took her man. I took her man. You see her? She's excited even. You see? I took her man. I took her man. You see that money getting thrown in her head? You see it? Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my, I am blessed when I wake up in the morning and I take someone's fiance every day of my. I am blessed. You see that, fam? Yeah, fam. So you see the money getting thrown in her head. So that's the. I think it was planned, fam. You get me, fam? That it must have been planned. The money, the way that she got treated afterwards. It's a mad thing, fam. You get me? So that's his girl now. You get me? And she's even moved in his trap house. You get me? They're doing their damn thing now. I don't understand how Pastor Annabelle can still be in that church. I know she's burning because it doesn't make sense. The guy will pull up with her, playing. You know, they're doing this. They're playing this happy couple, and she just there like. I don't get it, fam. I don't. If you watch this, if you're watching this, are you dumb or are you dumb, fam? Someone you're gonna get married to, yeah, is with your man. Just pulled up with your man, and they're playing now happy couples, fam. Fam. But listen, this is what Toby's green lighting, innit? He gave the green light, go ahead, and you say you rebuke people, fam. And you say you're a real pastor, fam. You're even throwing money in her head. You're saying you're a real pastor, fam.
So as you saw, TK basically broke down the base of what happened with Pastor Sam in regards to his relationships at Spac Nation. So this is a guy who had a girl write letters to him and give him support for a period of 4 years. He came out of jail. He joined the church he was at. She helped him settle down. They got engaged, and this guy stabbed her in the back by sleeping with another girl and getting that girl pregnant. And that girl that got pregnant told her to have an abortion. And then now, he's with another girl. Like, it just says a lot about him. And I remember the time it happened, Pastor Toby spoke about it in front of the whole church. The only reason he done that was because he knew the information got out. So he wanted to look like he didn't tolerate it. So this was all an act. So he came in front of the whole church and said that Sam has been wrong and he needs to apologize for what he's been doing. And that basically he's not aware that this was going on in his house. So this is what happened. So it shows you Sam's mentality. And it shows you where he's at in terms of girls. Because there's a lot of allegations regarding him sleeping around with a lot of the members in the church. So this is a reputation that he has inside the church. Now outside the church, we need to expose him about other things. And when I mean other things, I'm talking about his business. In terms of business, Sam has opened 2 businesses online. So he had 2 registered companies online. The first one was Zion Investment Limited. This company's status is currently dissolved, and it dissolved on the 19th of June 2018. It is a private limited company, and the account was incorporated on the 4th of April 2014. And just like any other Spac Nation businesses, his company had nothing reported. No email address, no website, no telephone. And now, here's the business that Sam allegedly claims made him become successful and rich. This is a business that dissolved on the 20th of March 2018. A business that was opened on the 16th of June 2015. So this business has also dissolved. Both of these businesses have dissolved. And Zuriel is it's a business that Sam has bragged about till today. Even when you go on his social media, you will see that he still promotes it. Now, there's a lot of members at Spac Nation that don't take time out to actually research these companies. This is a company that was supposed to basically hire people and give them jobs, basically. And it says that the net asset for this company is worth £2. £2. Employees, unreported. Turnover, unreported. Just like all the other businesses. This was meant to be recruitment, and no one was recruited to work. What Sam did with this company, he basically hired a lot of the members of Spac Nation just to make the company look legit. He got himself to take out loans. He got some of the staff also to take out loans. And then he resigned from the company. And then everyone else resigned. And then the company was dissolved. This is a company that he also used to fool people. He would set up meetings, business meetings, and would pitch about this business to a lot of investors. Some will be fooled. He will take money from them and they would never hear from him again. There's a lot of members inside Spac Nation that have actually invested their own money into this company that doesn't exist. So basically Sam has a way of surviving, meaning every single month he expects to basically find someone to invest in his company. So he will get money from them and then try to repay back some people small amount of money each month, because when he gets an investor to put money into his company, he guarantees to give them a certain amount of money for a long period of time. So his own members that he has fooled, sometimes he's got money from them and hasn't even paid them a penny back. There's people inside the church, couples, this guy has taken 20k, 50k, sometimes even 100k from these people, put half of that money in his pocket and the other half into Pastor Toby's pocket. And then he just carries on living his life like he doesn't owe these people. He tries to ignore them. People will try to chase up with him, and then whenever they'll contact him, he will tell them, don't worry, that the money will come, that the money will come. When he sees that the pressure gets to him, he starts to pay back in small amounts. This is what he does. Because he feels like, because he's a top pastor at Spac Nation, some of the members won't question him. This is the reason why he would go on Periscope and basically try to indirect by saying that the money that he gets, or the money that people put in, is for the future of Spac Nation, and that money will help them in the future. He basically tries to make them feel like, ignoring the fact that they're owing money. He wants them to basically turn over the page and forget about the money. That's what he does. But when some members are angry with him, he tries to pay them back in small bits. Because he knows each month, he's expecting people at his fellowship to pay a lot of seed. So from that money, majority will go to Pastor Toby's pocket and the rest will go into Sam's pocket. And he will use some of that money to repay some people. He also knows that during the month, he's going to try and con someone into getting 10, 15, 20k from. This is how Sam basically lives his life. He lives his life with hope, knowing that he's going to con someone. Now remember, I use the word conning because that's what he's doing. But legally, he isn't conning them, because the members that are sending him money are old enough and responsible enough to go and take out money, take out loans to give to him. It's not illegal to give him money, especially when they're of age. But because he's a pastor, and a lot of these members respect him, and they don't expect the pastor to fool them into giving them money, they end up being fooled. Which to a certain extent is understandable, because if you go to Spac Nation and Pastor Sam is meant to be one of the top pastors at Spac Nation, you're not going to doubt him when he comes to you and tells you, listen, you can invest 20k into my company and I'll be giving you 1k every month for the rest of your life. It is tempting for some of these people because they believe that he is a legit pastor, and they end up getting conned, and then he doesn't do anything about it. He just doesn't do anything about it. He will sometimes get Pastor Toby to basically speak to these members to keep them happy. Pastor Toby will tell them, don't worry, Pastor Sam will sort it out. Or he will tell them that the company has got into a debt, so it's dissolved. So what we'll do is we'll try to give you some money from time to time. This is what they do. This is the scheme that happens. Because the guy needs a lot of money to sustain this lifestyle that he lives. Because he can't afford it. The only way he's able to afford it is by taking money from people. And this is what this guy does on a month-to-month basis. Now, things have dried up for Pastor Sam because everyone inside the church knows he's a crook. This is why now he heavily relies on the leaders that he mentors to make sure they raise a certain amount of seed every single week. Now he's monitoring the finance. He's adding pressure on them. And these leaders are adding pressures on their members to give like there's no tomorrow. Because Sam can no longer sustain the lifestyle that he was living. He can't maintain it. Sam has more than 14 people living inside his house. Kids from all age groups. Young girls, adults, everything. So a lot of them heavily rely on him. And he relies also on them and other members to make sure they give a certain amount of money. So he now gives each leader a target and a minimum to get every single week. Some of them he's telling them, you need to raise 2k every week. And he's telling them the format of doing that is by having 10 to 20 kids under you. And when I say kids, it varies from the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It varies. Because the ones that are unable to work, or the ones that go to college or whatever, even if they're going to give £50, £20 every week, it adds up. Because if they have 10 people under them, giving around £100 every week, that's 1k. So 20 kids, that's 2k. Some may have members under them who are in their 20s that have normal jobs that can afford to give them £200 every week. So this is the format he's giving to each leader. So this is how he's heavily relying on them to raise money. And you guys saw on the video I showed you in part 1, where he's desperately telling his members who are at university, listen, you need to give everything. Because the guy is very desperate. The money he makes, when it comes, he goes to shop with it and he gives a lot to Pastor Toby. This is how he lives, because this is the lifestyle that he enjoys. He will go and buy the nice watch and he will go buy the nice clothes. The money goes. The guy isn't saving a penny, because he was very ignorant in believing that he will make the same amount of money that he's been making every single month. But Spac Nation have lost hundreds of members. This is why now they're putting pressures on their members. So this is how Sam has been able to maintain his finance as Spac Nation. And his finances are decreasing so much that now he's crying out for help on his periscopes. He's openly giving his members targets. He can't do it behind the scene, because behind the scene he can only tell his members. On Periscope, he's able to influence people who aren't leaders, people who just attend his fellowship, so that everyone gets the message. It's out of desperation, because if it was up to him, he would just give the pressure to his leaders and expect them to give. But it's because his leaders are not reaching the target. He has to openly come on Periscope and remind everyone, you need to give.
It is not too small for individuals to give 1k a week if they allow me to use them. Are you sowing 1k a week? And by God's grace, I'm sowing 1k a week. However we want to put it, it's 1k a week, and I'm sowing that 1k a week, and I'm not relenting on that 1k a week. But and I've sold way more than 1k a week, to be honest. Sometimes you can get 5k in a week, you get this, that, and the other. And I know this seed is pushing me to somewhere. Someone will say, you have so much issues on you, you have so much debt that you're battling, but this, that, and the other, but you don't relent on your seed. By the time you're ready to have your children, and by the time a certain generation is growing, to give £1,000 a week for a work would be like, that's too low. I want you to know what we're fighting through now, Spac Nation. Connect. It will be like, that's too low. They'll be like, that's the norms to be able to give like billionaires and millionaires. I don't know, because of reason I can't share these examples, but for now there's been 10 pastors, individuals that have been selected. And these individuals have not been selected because of their seed record. They've been selected because this is a fight of influence. There are 10 pastors that have been selected out of the Connect Camp for now that are going to give 1k a week. They're going to give 1k a week. Now, if you're on, this is a very important statement to you and to the rest of the nation. If you're not one of those people, get behind the pastor. Now, guess what these pastors have to be trained to do? Listen, they have to be trained minimum to teach their people how to make £200 a week. They can start with £100 a week. They must get their people. 10 pastors must select 10 people in their line, and those 10 people must make £100 a week every week. Look at this. They must make up £100 a week every week. They must minimum £100, but they must train them to be able to make 200, to be able to give £200 a week, and then also listen to this, and then also be able to have money to maintain this, that, and the other. So that's number one. They must also buy. It's not for me now. I'm going for them, and I'm saying, listen, how can you not produce 1K at the end of the week? So and so, Pastor Kunle, you run Norwood Fellowship. How can you not produce 1K at the end of the week? Get individuals to be consistent in sowing. Number one, and that's number one. The consistency in sowing. And it's for me. I'm hearing individuals say to me, yes, I get a monthly salary and I sow on a monthly basis, and that's amazing and that's good. But I want to challenge at least 10 to 20 people to sow on a monthly basis, but to still be able to produce £100 to £200 a week.
So you guys can see the role that this and the power that this guy has at Spac Nation. So all of the fellowships around South, he's the one that's in control of it. Even some leaders that go to different fellowships, he's above them. So he can set out a rule to them and they have to do it with no questioning. So you just saw in that video, again, this is a video I've showed in the past, but I had to remind you guys, this is a guy who is very desperate. He's very desperate. And he doesn't care about people's responsibilities. And he just mentioned, he said there's people who are paid on a monthly basis, he still expects them to give him at least £100 to £200 every week. How does that make sense? People with normal jobs that have to pay for their own bills, he still expects them to give majority of the salary at the end of the month and then somehow find a way to raise money every week. So like I said, what he's basically saying is, okay, I understand you lot work and you're paid every month, but what you can also do is basically try and con other people. Try to create a group where you have 10 to 20 people and then try to get money from them. Try and raise at least £100 from these people. Basically like ACN, like these companies. So this is what he's operating at Spac Nation. And this is of course coming from his boss, Pastor Toby. But Sam is making them do things and he's making them work twice as hard so that he can have some money for himself. So he's giving them unrealistic targets and almost forces them to somehow reach that target. So he wants them to do everything necessary. So can you imagine how many lives are being affected? How many young girls and young men in Spac Nation that feel pressured to do things? This is the influence that this guy has. And this is how this guy is ruined and has ruined a lot of people's life. This is a guy who has robbed his own mother. This is a guy who's robbing kids, student finance. This is a guy who's extorting everyone around him. This is a guy who has lied and conned his own friends. He has no limits. He has no limits. He calls himself Pablo, but I'm calling him El Chapo because El Chapo is still alive right now. And this guy is basically the pastor version of El Chapo. He's running the whole organization and he's corrupting and misleading people. He's taking money from people and doesn't even care. This guy needs to be exposed. There's more to discuss about Pastor Sam, but because we have a lot more people to expose, I feel like this is sufficient information for you guys just to know that this guy does not have any legit businesses, which means this guy does not have a job. So this is the only way of him making an income. Fooling and deceiving people, taking money from them, manipulating people. This is Pastor Sam's role at Spac Nation. So this is the exposing of Pastor Sam.